So, excited to bring in a lot of teams here, and it's the ITA Regionals, which in the past hasn't meant as much as it means now. There's a recent change to college tennis where they moved the NCAA tournament to the fall, the individual singles and doubles tournament. So this is actually a qualification tournament for the NCAA tournament. All the best players in our region, which is essentially, the Big Ten, I'd say the original Big Ten landscape, and teams like Notre Dame, and then some of the mid-major schools like UIC, Cleveland State, Chicago State, teams like that. So, there's going to be a lot of great teams. Obviously, you have Ohio State, who, was number one in the country for the past, I'd say 6 months of the last season. Michigan has a great team. Illinois has a great team. We like to think that we have a great team. And, excited to bring in some players for a great week of tennis.
Coach, how you doing?
Good.
You have a Hall of Fame coach giving you praise about your recruiting. You walked into a conversation we were having about the state of college sports and all that. He was giving this thesis with that. What makes you so unique at recruiting? You don't have to give away all the secrets, but it's a new day and time, and you're finding success.
For sure. It's funny that I walk in late to a press conference that Coach Izzo is giving, and he gives me a shout out. I think the 8-year-old me would have died and gone to heaven at that moment. So, he's unbelievable, and I think that's what makes Coach Izzo so special is, obviously football, basketball, hockey, they're going to get a lot of publicity, but he does a great job of supporting the other teams around campus. And just talking to my colleagues, it's not usual, it's not normal to do what he does, and just looking out for everyone. And obviously that's why he's made such a great career out of this. And, he's a legend. So pretty cool moment there. And, obviously I think the first thing that sticks out is I'm younger than a lot of the head coaches. I think I'm still holding on by a thread as the youngest head coach in a Power 4 conference. And I think that really helps in recruiting, just being active, getting out there, a lot of travel and FaceTime with the players. And then I also think the sell of, a lot of these top players, they're being recruited by the best of the best, the cream of the crops, the USCs, the UCLAs, the Stanfords. And their sell is, hey, we're the big dogs. We've won national championships. Come here and continue that tradition. And I think, our sell is, hey, I was a player here. I was an assistant coach. We didn't do much, and you can come in here and create a name for yourself and be the guy that kind of takes this thing to the next level. And I think 30 years ago, I don't think my sell works. I don't think these players come to Michigan State, but I do think that with this generation, these guys are on TikTok, they're on Instagram. It's what have you done for me in the last 5 seconds? And I think in this generation, that sell is a lot more than the tradition in the powerhouses. I think they're having a little bit of a tougher time selling that same narrative that they've had to have.
Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Coach, after seeing our stylists finish this past week at the M15, where do you think his biggest strength lies headed in to the ITA coming up? And what do you think, where do you see him coming at this week?
So he had a good moment. He played Davis Cup a few weeks ago in Serbia. And doubles, he plays with Stefanos Tsitsipas, who's been number 3 in the world. His brother Petros, they're both Greek, really good players. He's playing Novak Djokovic in Serbia in the TC Partizan Stadium. Eris, first shot of the match, Djokovic's partner hits a serve, Eris hits a return, pegs Djokovic right in the chest with the ball, which in tennis is like, it's not a crime, but you're not making any friends. And it was a packed house in Serbia. He had the Serbian fans booing him, and Djokovic actually had to speak to the crowd and calm him down a little bit. And I think that's what Eris, what makes him special is that in that moment, you're playing the best player of all time. Somebody might have gone up to him and gotten an autograph, whatever it was. And in that moment, he's like, hey, I'm playing him like any other tennis player. And Eris is very, very confident, and he sees himself, 5-10 years from now in that level, playing Grand Slams, hopefully winning titles. And I think that's his biggest strength. And I think he's going to make it happen. He's got a really high level. I think the maturity and the day-to-day work, similar to what Coach Izzo deals with his basketball players, of like, hey, when you're a professional, this is your job. And Eris wants to be a professional, and I think that's the next step of just the consistency of the work, getting into his habits, getting into his routines, and really being efficient with his time and practice and on the court.
Harry, when you're making that pitch about come here and build it, can you use women's soccer, gymnastics, all of that, and say, look what happens here.
Oh, yeah.
All part of the same train.
Oh yeah, all part of the same train. And I think we can kind of bundle the non-Olympic sports or non-revenue sports in one. And I think really it's just an indicator of our athletic director Alan Haller and his priorities. Before him, we weren't winning championships in gymnastics and soccer. I mean, we were struggling in hockey, and he's really made a concerted effort to invest in those sports, his time, his energy, resources, all that, and we definitely sell that in recruiting. And then now we have a little bit of a magic thing going with the results we have. We finished last year in the top 25. Ozon's ranked number 1 in the country, so now we have a little bit of proof behind the pudding. I was a used car salesman for about 2 years. Now I can point to something and say we have it. We have a facility coming in thanks to Joan Secchia, as Coach Izzo mentioned. So my job's gotten a lot easier. I'm not just kind of throwing stuff at the wall and hoping it sticks.
Last one, Fred. Not that Ozon needs any fire lit under him, but can the new guy light that fire?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
See that?
Yeah. We have a fun. Our new guy Matt. Obviously, he made big waves. He won Kalamazoo. He played main draw of the U.S. Open, which is unheard of for a recruit like him to come to Michigan State. And the first practice, he's training for the U.S. Open. He's playing Ozon, and our guys, usually they put up a fight against Ozon in practice, but usually Ozon ends up winning. And Matt's really giving it to Ozon, and we're like, dang. Coach Izzo was talking about how sometimes guys come in not as good as advertised, and we're thinking, man, really good. And so Ozon's having a conversation with my assistant coach Mike on the bench, and this is a quote we use to this day of the program. They're talking, and then Matt just looks over and goes, "What do you need, a TED Talk right now, man? Let's play tennis." And so I think Ozon appreciated that. You're a competitor, and this guy didn't come in to play 2 singles. He didn't come in to be the second fiddle, and he was clear about that in the recruiting process. He loves Ozon. They get along really well. There's a good synergy there, and Eris is in that mix as well, our Greek player. And but each of those guys, when they compete in practice, they make no bones about it. They want to beat each other, and that's what you got to do if you want to be a great team. And they're really doing it. And obviously, their goals are beyond college tennis, playing professional tennis. So it's really cool to see.
All right, thanks, Coach. Coach.